How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Samech. Daf 160. Wow! Of Masechta BavaBasra. Wow! This is a big deal for a million reasons. It's a big deal because it's Daf 160. The end is mamish, it's palpable. What is palpable? Dennis, what's palpable? Like you can touch it? Or is that tangible? What's palpable? Tangible. What's palpable? The end is mamish tangible. Mamish, right? 176 daf in Masechta BavaBasra, 160. We're like on the second to last group of 10 thing. That's awesome. Number one. Number two. We begin today the last parak of Masechta BavaBasra, which is also the last parak of Nezikin, if we kind of group together Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, BavaBasra. 30 prakim of Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, BavaBasra that we've been studying for now almost 14 months, more than a year. And we are on the last of 30 prakim. Very exciting stuff. And it's also exciting because I'm very, very interested in this parak. Get Poshet. I think it's about shtaris, and what I'm excited about is I feel like many of the concepts that came up. I think I've said this before in Seder Nashim were really elaborated in Nezikin, right? Things like kinyanim, I guess lots of things related to kinyanim, like chazaka and mishicha and chalifin and all these kinds of things that I think were really fleshed out here. And here there's a whole parak about shtaris. I feel like a lot of the sugyas from Masechta Nashim that dealt with shtaris often would quote things from this parak as well. So I feel like there's almost a certain closure here with Get Poshet that I think, at the end of Get Poshet we'll probably have learned, I imagine all, if not almost all, certainly, of the sugis related to shtaris. So I'm very curious for how this parak is going to be. I'm excited for it. So I feel like between Misha Meis and Shchivmira and Yesh Noichalin and now Get Poshet, these are some real serious stuff. So I'm really excited for this. And here we are, the mamish, the final stretch of Nezikin, of Masechta Nezikin, Bav Mekam, Bav Metzia, BavaBasra, and the final stretch of Masechta BavaBasra, which we've been learning now for almost 6 months, the longest Masechta in Shas, in terms of Dapim. Says the Mishnah on Daf Kuf Samech Amud Aleph, Get Poshet, a regular document, right? A get, of course, doesn't necessarily mean a divorce document. We refer to divorce document as a get, but get really could be any document. So just a regular document. Eidav mitochos. You have witnesses who sign on the document, as we know. Mikusher eidav me'achor. Now a get mikusher. Now this came up. Masoras Hashas is saying maybe kiddushin, but let's see, gin. All right. Anyways, this concept of a get mekusher has come up before. Rashbam explains it as being basically with the toref of the document. Of course, we've learned in the past that there's the toref of the document and the tofes of the document. The tofes is kind of the basic stuff, the kind of shared stuff, template kind of stuff, and the toref is the more unique stuff, names, dates, places, things like that. So the toref in a get mekusher, according to the Rashbam, is you'll write one line and then leave a blank line, and then you'll fold over the written line over the blank line, and then write another line, leave one blank, and you'll fold it over again. And you'll sew them shut, because that's a get mekusher. All right, according to the Rashbam. So where am I? So again, get poshet, a regular document, eidav mitocho. So the witnesses are in the document, are on the same side of the content. What's that noise? Are on the same. Okay, so you write kind of the document, and on this at the bottom of the document you have witnesses. But mekusher eidav me'achor. But a get mekusher It's kind of elaborate, folded over kind of document. So the witness is signed on the back of the document. Pashit sheksavo edav me'achorav. If you have a regular get, a get pashit, that the witness is signed on the opposite side, on the other side. Mekusher shekosvu edav mitocho or fakert, a get mekusher, that the witness is signed on the front side. Shneim psulin, but in both scenarios, the document is pasul. Chanina ben Gamliel Omer, Mikusher, Shekozvu Edav Mitocho Kosher, that a get Mikusher, that the witness is signed on the front side is kosher, Mipnesha Yochol Lasoso Pashit, because you can always just make it a get Pashit by opening it up, right? Just unsewing it and opening it up, that would make it essentially a regular get, a get Pashit. So since a get Kusher can be made into a get Pashit, so it would be okay if it was signed on the front side. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer says, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Akol Kiminig HaMedina, everything is like the Minig HaMedina. Apparently we'll have to wait until Daf Kuf Samachei to understand what that means, apparently. Okay. Fine. Get Poshit, Eidov Bishnayim Umikusher Bishlosha. So a regular get has 2 witnesses that sign on it. A get Mikusher, 3 witnesses sign on it. Did we even learn, wherever we learned about get Mikushers, that actually you have the number, like another witness per fold or something? I don't know. Maybe it'll come up in the Gemara. Poshit shekosav bo eid echod u'mekusher shekosav bo shnei eidim. A regular get that only has 1 witness, or a get mekusher that has only 2 witnesses, not 3. Shneim psulin, in both scenarios, the document is pasul. A get poshit with 1 witness and a get mekusher with 2 witnesses. How do we know that there is a concept of a get poshit versus a get mekusher? That a get poshit has 2 witnesses, a get mekusher has 3 witnesses. How do we know this stuff? So Reb Chanina says, Reb Chanina Damakar, that the pasuk says, Sados bakesef yiknu. Yirmiyah says that the Yidden will buy fields with money, v'chasev b'sefer v'chasom, and then they will document it. They'll write it in a document, and they will sign it. V'ayid eidim, there will be witnesses. So says the Gemara, when the pasuk says Sados bakesef yiknu v'chasev b'sefer, that they will buy properties with money, and then they will write it in a book. Zeg poshit. That's a reference to a get poshit. They'll write a regular document. Vachasom, and to sign it, I think is probably what it means. But Rashbam says vachasom kilu, in our context, mashma tzarur v'chosum u'mekusher, that it's like closed and sewn, tied up. Okay, so that's referring to get mekusher. V'aid, and as we know, of course, unless the Torah says otherwise, aid, of course, always means 2 witnesses. So va'aid is shnaim. When it says v'ha'aid, it means 2 witnesses. Eidim plural, shlosha, is 3 witnesses. So aketzad shnaim the poshit, shlosha the mekusher. So when we're referring to 2 witnesses, it's for the get poshit. When we're referring to 3 witnesses, it's for the get mekusher. Okay. V'ipuchana. Maybe I'll suggest fakert, that the get poshit should have 3 witnesses and the get mekusher should have 2. Well, since the pasuk is referencing this get mekusher, which is a more complicated get, so it also is more complicated in the fact that it has 3 witnesses, whereas a get poshit only has 2. Whereas Rafam says it comes from the following pasuk. It says Yirmiyah, va'ekach sefer amikno, and I took this document, essentially esachosum, that which was signed, ha mitzvah v'achukim, the mitzvahs and chukims, v'sagaloi, and that which was revealed. Va'ekach sefer amikna, when it says I will take the sefer amikna, zeh poshit, that's a reference to a get poshit. Esachosum, zeh mekusher, okay. V'sagaloi, zeh poshit shebe mekusher, and the galoi is the tofes, the template part, the shared part that isn't folded over. The toref is folded over, the tofes is not. Hamitzvah v'achukim, when we talk about the mitzvah and the chukim, elu dvarim shebein pashut l'mekusher. This is a reference to those to the differences between a get pashut and a get mekusher. Okay, it said how so? Zayd of shnaim v'zayd of shlosha. For example, a get pashut has 2 witnesses. A get mekusher has 3 witnesses. Zayd of mitochav, zayd of mechorav. A get pashut, the witnesses sign on the front of it. A get mekusher, the witnesses sign on the back of it. V'ipuchana, maybe I'll suggest that a get pashut has 3 witnesses and a get mekusher has 2 witnesses. Since a get mekusher is more severe in that it has folds and details and stuff, so it's also more more severe in that it has 3 witnesses rather than 2. Rami Bar Yechezkel says it comes from here. Al pi shnei edim oy al pi shleisha edim. The pasuk says by either 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses. Yakum Dover, a thing will be established. If testimony suffices with 2, why then say 3? To inform you, Shnayim lepashit shlosha lemekusher, that if you're going to write a document, so you'll have 2 witnesses on a get pashit and 3 witnesses on a get mekusher. Maybe I'll flip it around. That since I get mekusher is more complicated in its construction, it's also more complicated in that it requires 3 witnesses. Wait a second. Frek the Gemara, we just quoted 3 separate psukim from which we argued that these psukim teach us midoraisa, get pashit and get mekusher. But 1 second. From those 3 psukim, there are other implications. These psukim are really coming to teach us get pashit and get mekusher and 2 witnesses and 3 witnesses. Each one of those 3 psukim is needed for its own reasons. When the pasuk says that's just good advice. Yirmiyah was just telling the Yidden, if you're going to buy fields, you should document it. Just good advice. And when Yirmiyah talks about when he purchased a field from Chanamel, so it says, and I took the document. He was just saying that he took a document. He wasn't teaching halachas of get mekusher, get pashut. And with regard to that pasuk of 2 witnesses, 3 witnesses, the hakish shlosh l'shnayim b'flukto the Rabbi Akiva Rabbanon said machlokes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanon Masechta Makis. I think it has something to do with Edim Zomimin and being tafel dvar avera or something. We'll get to Masechta Makis. Does it come up in Sanhedrin Oichid and Sanhedrin? We're starting to I feel like all of a sudden we're starting to transition more into Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin is followed by Makis. We've had like a few Gemaras recently that were Sanhedrin Gemaras, slowly transitioning into Sanhedrin. Anyway, so that pasuk is needed for that machlokes between the Rabbanan and Rabbi Akiva. So Ela Mekusher with the Rabbanan, rather a get Mekusher, a get Pashut, a get Pashut, I guess it's Midoraisa, but a get Mekusher is a Dirabanan thing. Vikrai, and in terms of those psukim that allegedly reference the get Mekusher, Asmachta Ba'alma. Those are just, basing it on a pasuk, but it's not actually learned from the pasuk. It's just applied to the pasuk after the fact. Why is there such a thing of a get mekusher? Why did the rabbis feel that they needed to make a get mekusher? I'll tell you why. We've seen this. Because it was a place where there were kohanim there. Now, if a kohen divorces his wife, they cannot get back together. She's a divorcee. And these kohanim would get very ticked off, and they would get upset, and they would divorce their wives. They would just, on a whim, they would divorce their wives, and then the next day they would say, wait, what did I just do? I want to stay married, but it was too late. They can't get remarried. So the rabbi said, you know what? We're going to make this concept of a get mekusher where you write one line, you leave a line blank, you fold it, you sew it, you sign it, 3 witnesses. And in the meantime, while having to deal with this whole schlep, he's gonna chill out a little bit, simmer down, and he will say, wait, I don't want to actually go through with this document. Okay, fine, so I understand a get makusha in the context of gittin. Fine. But what about regular shtaris? What does that have to do with get makusha? Why would you need to get makusha for just a regular document that's not a get? So kadesh l'techalek bein gittin l'shtaris. There is no reason for a regular document to be a makusha, but it's just to have consistency between gittin, which is just a document, and regular documents. So we said, look, just like you could write a get makusha for a get, you could write any shtar makusha as well. That was daf Kuf Samich of Masechta BavaBasra. We started the 10th and final parak of Masechta BavaBasra. I'm looking forward to this parak. We're going to be talking about shtaris, the halachos of shtaris, and today we began with discussing distinctions between a regular get and a get makusha, a tied get, and distinctions such as how it's written, but also that it requires 2 witnesses versus 3 witnesses, signing on the front versus signing on the back. And we say that this is a dirabanan enactment in order to protect the marriages of kohanim, to make it more complicated to write a get, so that they will have time to simmer down during the process, and hopefully they will remain married. Peace out.